The following are two unusual stories. Although different from one another, were about two people that were haunted by entities from the spirit world. The following stories continue to pose questions about the afterlife. Both stories tell us that life does not come to an end when we pass from this world, but at the same time leave us no closer to solving life's great mystery. The Haunting of Heidi, Georgia, USA. The Wiricks were a young couple when they moved into their home in Ellerslie, Georgia, who had a young daughter called Heidi. When Heidi was just 3 years old, she said she had a friend who she would play with in their backyard. She claimed that her friend was an old man who would appear to her and beckon her to play with him on the swings. After hearing that this friend was an elderly man, they became alarmed and believed that someone could be trying to abduct their daughter. But after watching their daughter closely, they realised that this friend was just an imaginary playmate, as there was no one else in the area for her to play with. The old man would regularly appear to her in the backyard from time to time, and Heidi had no idea he was not real. Heidi claimed to have seen the old man until she was 8 years old on a daily basis, where they would sit and have conversations. Then he would take her by the hand and they would play on the swings. On occasions, Heidi's mother would see her playing out in the yard and would see her hand raised as if she were holding someone's hand. She said that many times she would hear her talking but never heard anybody talk back. After slowly coming to the realization that this play person was not an imaginary friend, they asked around the neighbourhood as to who this could be. They discovered that it may be the spirit of an elderly man who had once lived close by. Her mother said they figured out who he might have been when they saw his name on a deed. The name was Mr. Gordy, who had died in 1974 and was once a prominent landowner in the area and is buried in Park Hill Cemetery. Her parents came to the realization that Heidi had a special gift, and as she grew older, she would have many strange visitations. Spirits started to come to her either as humans, animals, and unusual figures that she had no explanation for. Over a period of time, she got more experience and could tell whether her special visitors were either good or evil. If they were evil, she would pick up a strange feeling and feel very ill. Her mother would be very concerned as her daughter was not dealing with a living person but an unknown entity, and she would not know how to protect her. Because not all of Heidi's visitors were as friendly as Mr. Gordy. One day a man appeared at the front door to Heidi in a blooded t-shirt and a bandaged hand. His name was Lon. He had once lived in the area but passed away in 1952. Lon was quite a nasty spirit, where the whole family witnessed paranormal activity in the home, where cabinets and doors would open and close and items would move about by themselves. At other times, there would be physical assaults where a father was attacked 4 nights in a row and was left with severe scratches and gouges. Heidi was also scratched and had her hair pulled. Over the years, Heidi would continue to see spirits, and one of them was dressed in a way that reminded her of the little girl from the TV show Little House on the Prairie. Unfortunately, she continued to encounter dark spirits, where some had no face at all. As Heidi got older, she moved from a house in Harris County, but she still continued to see visions around her new home in Columbus, Ohio. By the time she was 30, Heidi had slowly learned how to deal with her unusual gift or psychic power. Most of the time, she's learned to keep a lot to herself and doesn't really notice it. You get used to seeing things after a while, she said. However, not a day goes by where Heidi doesn't wish her life could have been more normal. Every day I wish these things hadn't happened, because my life would be so much different. I wouldn't be known for something like this, she said. The Haunting of Maria Tallarico. In February 1936, under a bridge in Catanzaro, Italian police found the body of Giuseppe Pepe Veraldi. Police deduced that Pepe had taken his own life and suspected no foul play. Also, the fall onto hard rocks would have covered up any signs of a serious assault. His family disagreed with the police findings and said that there was no reason for their son to take his own life. Although the drama made local gossip and rumours and even made news headlines, it eventually faded and was forgotten. 3 years later, in January 1939, a teenager named Maria Tallarico was walking near the bridge where they found Veraldi's body and felt a compulsion to stand where he fell off the bridge and suddenly collapsed unconscious and was taken home. When Maria awoke, her voice was now deeper and harsher, and she sounded like a male. She sat up and claimed her name was Pepe and demanded to speak to his mother, Caterina Veraldi. While waiting for Caterina to arrive, Maria, albeit Pepe, asked for wine, cigarettes, and playing cards, inviting neighbours to join her in a game. This was not typical behaviour for Maria, as she neither drank wine, smoked cigarettes, or played cards. She then called out to some of the men that were present the names of 4 of Pepe's known friends. When Caterina Veraldi arrived at the Tallarico home, she was amazed to hear her son's voice coming from the teenage girl. His next statement amazed her even more when he said his friends were responsible for him losing his life by beating him with an iron bar and then throwing him off the bridge. When Maria wrote down more details, his mother verified that it was her son's handwriting. As soon as Maria had finished discussing how Pepe had lost his life to his mother, she walked out of the house to the bridge and lay down in the exact position in where Giuseppe's body was found. Everyone followed her, and in surprise response, Caterina Veraldi demanded that her son stop possessing Maria immediately. Maria suddenly awoke and had no memory of what had happened to her the previous night. In another unusual twist of the story, 9 years later, Mrs. Veraldi received a letter from Luigi Machetti, who had been one of her son's best friends. In the letter, Luigi claimed that a short time after her son had lost his life, he left Italy. In the letter, he confessed to assaulting and throwing Pepe over the bridge, and had done it in a jealous rage over a woman. He also said that he did not act alone, and claimed that 3 other friends had helped him, the same men that Maria had named when she was possessed by Giuseppe Pepe Veraldi. The details of the event on the bridge that Luigi Machetti had written in the letter was identical to the story that Pepe Veraldi had told. It also turned out that Luigi Machetti had recently died, and that the letter had been left among his belongings with the expressed instructions that it be mailed to Pepe's mother Caterina in the event of his death. He also requested that all of his money and belongings to be bequeathed to her as a reparation for his violent crime. Of the friends that took part in his attack, one of them had passed away, and Luigi was living in Argentina. Police arrested the other 2 remaining accomplices and jailed them. What makes this story both fascinating and credible was that Maria and her family had known nothing about Giuseppe Veraldi, his friends, or anyone associated with him. So, how could she have known the truth about him losing his life in such a detailed manner under the bridge? There appears no doubt that she was temporarily possessed by the spirit of Giuseppe Pepe Veraldi, and she might still have been possessed had it not been for his angry mother's insistence that he leave her body immediately.